Hey everyone, it's Priscilla from Princess Queen Crochet, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to crochet from start to finish using the half double crochet stitch. Ignore my extra long tapestry needle, we're not doing tapestry crochet, so let's get into it. Alright, so today I am using Red Heart Yarn Super Saver yarn in the color Pool. I love this blue yarn. I cannot trust it enough. I will link everything down below in the comments in case you want to get some Red Heart yarn yourself. Alright, and I'm also using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, which is also this is also 5.5. I love boy hooks, they're my favorite. I'll link that below as well. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the super intricate tips and tricks. I'm going to do this as basic as possible, and I'll be showing you guys how to do a slip knot, how to chain, how to do the half double crochet stitch, and how to fasten off. You can make a basic square, rectangle, even a scarf, or honestly, you can make a blanket. You can make so many things using just a rectangle or a square. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is how to do a slip knot. We don't need our hook for this part. We're going to pick it up, but in a second. So take your yarn just like this, have your working yarn on this side, the working yarn on this side, and your end on this side. And I always say just make a loop. When you make this loop, you need to have your short end of your yarn over top. See? It's right over top. Make sure it's a little bit long, so you have room to do the next part. It's about this long. Take this part of your short yarn and bring it around the back, and you're going to bring it through the loop, but not all the way through. So take this part of the yarn, don't take the end right here, and bring it around through the back. Oh my gosh. Bring it around just like this, through the back of the loop, but not all the way through. Only a little bit. Now you're going to take your hook and put it through that yarn you just brought through halfway. Get your working yarn and the end of your yarn and pull. And you're going to want to pull both to bring it close to the hook, but not like tight. You don't want to make it tight. You want to make it a little bit loose. Have a little bit of space in between your hook and your yarn. Show you guys how to do the slip knot one more time. Make a loop. Make sure the short end of your yarn is in front. Bring it around back. Not all the way through. Grab your hook, put it through, and pull. And then pull a little bit closer to your hook, just like this. And that's a slip knot. Congratulations, you are on your way. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to do the chain. The chain is a foundation of basically your project. It's basically going to be the width or the length, whatever you want to call it, of how long your project is going to be. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to do 10. So to do this, when I do my first chain, I like to use my hand over here, and I like to grab on to the bottom of the slip knot so it's not running around like this when we're trying to do our chain. I also have a whole nother video about how to hold your hook, how to hold your yarn. I'll link that below as well so you can check that out. Once again, I'm going through the basics, not all the tiny little tips and tricks. So wrap your yarn around your hook from back to front. Here's your working yarn. That's what you're going to be wrapping with. So I'm holding the bottom of my slip knot right here. I'm wrapping the yarn around back to front. And then this yarn is going to go through that loop. So what I do is I take this hand that's holding my yarn, I hold the bottom of my slip knot, and I use this hook right here. See the hook? I'm going to turn it so it ends up grabbing onto that yarn we just wrapped over. It's going to bring it through our slip knot. And it makes a chain. Chain is like a little V. I'm going to show y'all again. Wrap the yarn around your hook front to back. Make sure this isn't moving around. You don't want that. So hold down your chain or your slip knot. Wrap the yarn around back to front. And then pull that yarn through that loop. So back to front. Pull it through. Now we have 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. You can count your chains by seeing how many V's you have. V, V, V. Now, sometimes when people don't know how to hold their yarn yet, I hold mine like this. Sometimes they just wrap it around like this, and they take their other finger and they pull that loop over that. Sometimes they chain like that until they can get a hold on how to hold their yarn. You can also wrap it around back to front and pull the loop over that working yarn. That is another way to chain. You'll still get nice little pretty little V's. Alrighty, so let's get into how to do the single crochet after I make a few more chains. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, after you get to how many chains you want or the width of your project, how I do it is I chain an extra 1 at the end of my chains, and that is going to be the one we're going to skip. So if I want 10 stitches or 10 half double crochet stitches or whatever stitch you want to do, I do 10 and I add 1. Now I have 11, but we are going to skip that first chain and go into the second one. So let's show you guys how to do the half double crochet stitch. So the first thing we're going to do is wrap the yarn around our hook back to front. And as I said, we're going to skip that first chain and we're going to go into the second one. Once again, chain our little V's. Skip the first chain, go into the second one. And when I say go into it, you can either go into this loop right here. See how it's like the V's right there? Top of the V, that's the one that I go into. But some people are different and they'll turn their work around and go into the little bump behind it. But we're not going to do that because I don't want to confuse you guys today. So go into this top part of your V. So here's our first chain we're going to skip. We're going to go into the second one. And we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook back to front. And we're going to pull it through this loop. So after you wrap it around, pull it through that loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. To finish off the half double crochet, we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook and we're going to pull it through all 3 loops. So I'm going to turn my hook down like this so it grabs onto that yarn. I'm going to pull down so the loops are nice. You can see all the little openings in it. I'm going to pull it through all 3. And that is 1 half double crochet. Let's do it again. So we just went into this chain, right? Now we're going to go into the next chain right there. See that little V? We're going to go into that loop. But first we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook, back to front, wrap. Then we're going to put it into that next chain. We're going to wrap the yarn around our hook, pull it through that loop, that first loop. And we have 3 loops on our hook. Wrap it around back to front and pull it through all 3 loops. Got it? Do it one more time. Wrap the yarn around your hook. Make sure you're going to the next chain, not this one. We just went to that, we didn't go into the next one. Wrap the yarn around our hook. Pull it through that first loop, wrap the yarn around our hook, and pull it through all 3 loops. Alright, now we have 3 half double crochet stitches. Now we're going to go to the end of this row. I'm going to go into all the rest of the chains. I'm going to show you guys how to turn your work so you can work in rows and go back and forth until you get to the end of your project. I'll catch up with you guys after we're done going to the rest of the chains. Alright, so I have just finished this row. Now we want to make sure that we have the same amount of stitches that we're supposed to have. So we had 10 chains, made 11, we skipped 1. So we should have 10 stitches. Let me show y'all how to count how many stitches that you have so far. If you look on the top of each stitch, there's going to be a V, not including that chain that we skipped. So let's look. We have right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. If you're a beginner, I would highly suggest to count your stitches after each row to make sure you have the right amount, because it's so easy to actually increase and decrease when you're learning. All right, now that we have 10, we're going to turn our work. And you're like, Priscilla, how we do that? Let me show you. You literally take it and you turn it just like that. Now we're going to work into those top V's, all right? But we turned it. So this is how we're going to do rows. It's so much fun. Once you get into it, you can make like super long scarves or whatever else you want to make. So
let's look at the top of our work, which is the V's. You see all the little V's? That's what we're going to go into. But this, once again, this is how I do it. At the beginning of each row, I chain 1. We're not going to do anything with that chain. It just brings up our hook to the height of our stitch, so it's not like this. So it's starting off nice, perfect, and straight. So here's all the little V's we're going to work into, not including that chain 1. Don't touch that. Here's our first V. So we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook, put it into that V. So we're going to go underneath both loops of that V. Both, not just one, both. Unless you're trying to do front loop, back loop, that's completely different. That's a whole other tutorial. So once you insert it under that, wrap the yarn around your hook back to front, pull it through the V, pull that yarn through the V. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, wrap the yarn around your hook, and pull it through all 3 loops. And there is your first half double crochet of your second round. Yay! Let's do it again. Look at the top V of the next V, not the one we just went into, not this one. We're going to the next one. Wrap the yarn around your hook, put it under both loops of the next V, wrap it back to front, pull it through, wrap your yarn around your hook, and pull it through all 3 loops. All right, you're going to continue doing that as you go down, and you're going to, at the end of your row, guys, I'm telling you to do this. Make sure you count and make sure you have 10 stitches at the end of your row. Now, after we get to the end of this row, I'm going to show you guys how to fasten off. And how to fasten off is just basically when you want to end off your project. It's really simple. And then I will show you how to sew in your ends. All right, now we're at the end of our row. I'm going to make sure I have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I did it right. Okay, let's grab my scissors. Oh, I have some right here. That's perfect. We're going to cut off the end. We're going to leave some room. Now, people fasten off differently. Full disclaimer. Here's the most basic and easiest way to do it. You see how that last loop is done? Pull it through. Pull the loop, and then it ends just like that. Now let me show you guys how to sew in your ends. I have my little darning needle that I love to use. I'll also link that below too. I freaking love these. I think they're also Boho. Nice big opening for your yarn to fit through, and then nice and plastic, it's like slides through your stitches really easily. So let's go to the beginning, and we're going to put our yarn through our darning needle. After a while, it gets really easy to do that. And then we're going to pull our yarn through our stitches so we can hide it. We're going to go back and forth 2-3 times to make sure it is secure. Let me show y'all. So see how we have like little loops of these stitches? We're going to go through the middle of them just like that. Going to go through a few. And you know you're going in the middle if you can't really see your darning needle through your project. Like I can't really see it. Other side, can't see it too much, so I know we're good. I'm going to put it through our stitches, right in the middle of the stitches, all those loops. I'm going to pull it through, right? And then what I like to do, I like to turn my work and go back through some of those same loops so that's secure. So not exactly where it came out from, or just unwind everything, but I'll go through some of those loops I just went through. Again, trying to have too much of my needle show. Check, can't really see it on this side, can't see it on that side too much, so I know we're kind of in the middle of all our stitches. Gonna just pull through, and if I got some more yarn, I'm gonna do it again. And if your yarn's too short and you're like, I can't, wrap it around and pull it through, here's a little tippy trick right here. Put the darning needle first where you want your yarn to go, right? Start putting it through, and then grab the end of your yarn, all right? Put it through your darning needle, and then pull it through. That's a little tip I like to do when my yarn is too short. I put it through 3 times. It's pretty secure that yarn is not going to come out. Let's do it with the other side. It's a pretty long end right here. Put it through that. We're going to go through some stitches of that second row. Make sure you can't really see my darning needle. You can see it a little bit, but that's okay. Can't see it too much in the back. Gonna pull it through. And then I'm gonna go back and pull it through again. Ooh, that's about to fall out. Alright, I'm gonna pull it through one more time. Just to make sure it's secure. You really don't want your crochet falling apart, and that's kind of why you want to leave a long tail at the end. Alright, and that is it, guys. That's how you crochet from beginning to end using the half double crochet stitch. If you like this, subscribe. I have more tutorials. You can check out my channel. And if you have any questions, please comment below. Please like this video and share it with your friends. Have an awesome day and keep crocheting, my crochet kings and queens.